Hi there, this is Bill with Peak Performance Training Systems, and I'm excited today to tell you a little bit about training in the particular zones that are out there. Now, there's a bunch of different zones by a bunch of different people, but at Peak Performance Training Systems, we've kind of broken it down, tried to simplify it down to 6 or 8 zones. It might sound like a lot, but actually you're really only training in 3 or 4 of them most of the time as far as time goes, duration goes. So let me just go over them with you right from the top. So the first one is active recovery, and that's something that you're not in hopefully a lot when you're training. You can be in that zone when you're in between intervals or kind of on a rest day or just to spin the legs out. Or when you're just cruising around. So that's really easy. You could do that for hours. The second zone is endurance. And in endurance, you should be able to do that 2 to 4 hours, even longer, depending on your fitness. And you should be able to carry on a conversation, no problem, in that endurance zone. And that's a really valuable zone, and we'll come back to that. And then the third zone is tempo. And tempo is quite a bit harder than endurance. You can only do it from, depending on your fitness, from 20 minutes up to an hour at a time, and it's pretty stressful. You can carry on a conversation, but it's kind of choppy, and your heart rate's up there. You're not completely pegged, but it's good hard work. It's something that you can do for maximum about an hour. That's tempo. Now, the next one is lactate threshold, and in between lactate threshold, there's another one we'll come back to called sweet spot, but lactate threshold is the next one past tempo, and you can only really do LT or lactate threshold work from 6 to maybe 20 minutes at the very most, and that is really hard work. I mean, when you're done with that effort, if you make 20 minutes at that effort, you are gassed out. That's all you can do. You are not talking, you're breathing very hard, raspy breath, all of that. So that's some good, hard, honest work. Now down to VO2 max, you can see where it drops from this lactate threshold was 6 to 20. Now VO2 is 2 minutes to 6 minutes. Well, 6 minutes, good luck with that. 2 minutes to 4 or 5 is probably more normal for that. So there's a big drop in the amount of time that you can spend in that zone. And then anaerobic capacity is 30 seconds to 2 minutes. I mean, that is almost as hard as you can go. And then the very last one is all out, max power. Okay, so really there's really 6 or 7 zones in there. Circling back to this sweet spot. Sweet spot is a zone that's right at the top end of tempo and the bottom of lactate threshold, and it's a place where we train our athletes from 10, 15, and as much as 20 minutes with a nice rest interval in between, and then you can do those multiple times, 2, sometimes 3 times, to get a really good effect in a short amount of time. And that's a really good way early season to build your threshold. Later in the season, we come back to that, and we have a sprinkling of those workouts throughout the season. But anyway, so those are the 6 or 7 zones. Now, just to give you a quick personal story of how those zones affected me, this last week I had a big volume week, but I also had quite a bit of intensity in this zone here from 3 and 4. I was spending quite a bit of time riding in tempo and lactate threshold. Obviously that encompasses sweet spot, and by Saturday I was really tired and fatigued, and my legs were just cooked. Mentally I was a little bit worn down, but Sunday I had planned a big long ride, and the only thing that kept me going, rolling out the door on Sunday morning, was knowing that ride I was going to be riding here in an endurance zone, training that energy system. These energy systems were wiped out. They had been trained to their maximum. I wasn't going to get any more effort out of my body to really do any good. So backing down and training this endurance zone in this early part of the season really worked well for me. By 4 hours, I was feeling good. My legs were flushed out. By the end of the ride, I actually felt really motivated and empowered that I had stayed away from this, stayed in that endurance zone, built my threshold, built my endurance, and gotten stronger. So anyway, I hope that's helped you understand some of the zones and the amounts of time that you can spend in those zones and properly recover. And if you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the box down below. Leave your comments, feedback. I'd love to get back to you with any kind of information that you're looking for. I'd love to help you out in your quest to be fitter, faster, and stronger. Thanks so much. Again, this is Bill with Peak Performance Training Systems. Also, if you want to go to my website, www.peakpts.com, and see what else is, what other videos are there for free to take a look at. All right, take care and aloha.